Hey,
Hello, how's it going, Robert?
man, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Sorry, it took me a while to get this link working.
No, it's all good. It's all good. Whenever you're ready, we can go. Just for consent purposes, we are recording just so I can transcribe this later
Yeah,
on our
no problem.
website.
And then, can you hear? Can you hear
Yeah, I
me?
can hear you. Yeah, yeah. Let me
Yeah.
know. Do I sound clear enough to you?
All good.
Okay, awesome. All right, so we'll get it right into it. First and foremost, how was it working with Billie Eilish on this project?
Oh, fantastic. She's so great. Really, just really a cool kid. Just really focused, very kind. Comes from a great family. Phineas and her, just at the top of their
Hmm.
game. To get to work with, people like that, it's just a real joy. I always love to learn and learning from masters, wherever they come from.
Yeah.
Even when they're young, you think oh well they're younger, but they're so focused. And I remember what it was like. I started very young myself,
Hmm.
and I got introduced to her by my daughter and to her music for years. My daughter and I would jam her songs and hear her songs, and every time she'd bring me a new song that was really cool, I said, and who's that? Well, that's Billie Eilish too. And again, another great song by this girl. So when the opportunity came up to work with her, I jumped on it and brought my daughter along, and my daughter
Nice.
helped design the animation, and was a real bonding experience, but also just for what as a role model, and just to see how young people are really taking over the planet, in a great way with vision and reinvention and making great art. So it was a real fun time.
Yeah, there's a lot of new avenues that have opened up for a lot of young creatives in the world, which is great. So
Yeah,
being able to see everyone create something, no matter how big or small, is great in any capacity to any degree.
inspiring. Yeah, inspires everybody.
Yeah,
Great.
exactly. So in terms of the creative process behind it, I spoke with Patrick yesterday about it a little bit. Um, how did you guys all collectively together have the creative input between you, Billy, and others? How did you guys split that up?
Yeah, I mean, well, originally, Billy came to us with an idea, sort of a loose idea. She wanted to do at the bowl. We knew the bowl would be involved. We're already bringing on people to help shoot that. We knew we wanted to have a reflecting pool. I started thinking about that more. Just the fact that she loved animation and wanted to have an animated storyline through it.
Yeah.
Wasn't super detailed on what it was going to be yet, but as we worked together, we started coming up with landmarks she could visit, the purpose behind it. And I realized, in talking to her, that it was sort of an idealized version of herself. So I thought, wow, it'd be cool to have your idealized self that you wish you could be
Mhm.
looking for you as well, wishing that could be you. So
Yeah.
there's that. You've created this version of yourself that doesn't really exist that you hope to be. Well, that version wants to be you because you're real. And cooler to be cooler to be than Billie Eilish,
Yeah, right?
for them to meet would be great. It's like, oh, man, you're pretty fantastic as you are. So I thought that would be a good message, and I thought that gave us something to focus on when I motion capture. So I motion
Mhm.
capture her performance, worked with her there. That's when we really started honing in on the ideas. Patrick was there during the motion capture, so he could see what stuff I was really liking of what she was doing, and he made sure the animation got infused with that. And then we shot the live performance stuff and tied the two worlds together. And having a reflecting pool at the Hollywood Bowl makes it
Yeah.
reflect back on itself. They haven't had that there for decades. It was
Yeah,
cool to
Patrick
back.
was telling me about that yesterday, how it hasn't been filled in so many amount of years, and you guys were able, thankfully to COVID,
Yeah,
there were no people around, no people in the audience. You guys were able to fill that pool up, which is great. So that was
put
that
the
was a
camera
fun.
places. Yeah, put the camera places where you couldn't if there was an audience. So just technically, you
Mhm.
it doesn't look like any other concert film, which is great.
Yeah, it looks really great. The color palette is great. The cinematography is great. I've seen a couple of trailers and still images. It looks all great. I'm excited for it. But I also asked Patrick yesterday. Since you guys, he's more on the animated side. You do more, feature films, the more live action side. How did you guys? He has a very unique skill set. You also have a very unique skill set. Talk about marrying that two together in order to bring this film to
I mean, that's kind
fruition.
of what I do. I like working with different artists. When I did Sin City, I brought Frank Miller from the
Hmm.
comic book world and co-directed with him. I brought him on as a co-director because I wanted to meld the two worlds together. I didn't want to just turn it into a movie. And this was going to have elements of live action with her animated dropped in, like Roger Rabbit in a way.
Yeah.
So there's cinematic elements mixed with animation, and the two worlds coming together is what's going to create it very unique. So I definitely leaned on him a lot for the animation. I started as a cartoonist in animation, so I understand that world, but I just know he knows all these great new tools that allow us
Hmm.
to make it at a faster rate than ever could be done before. So we were able to do this very quickly. We only started talking about this project like back in April or May, so
Yeah.
it's come together really fast.
Yeah, he told me you guys had like a 12-week, inception to completion turnaround, which
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
which is pretty fast.
Oh, very fast. Especially he used to work on movies for 4 years, 5 years.
Yeah.
It
So
was like,
it's extensive but intensive. But you guys got the quick turnaround, which is great. But
yeah.
you've also become quite the mainstay at Disney. You've done things, The Mandalorian, working on Boba Fett, now Billie Eilish. How good has your experience been at Disney to make you want to keep coming back and working for them on various projects?
Well, first it's always the draw of the projects.
Hmm.
Wherever those projects would be, I would have gone. It just happened to be at Disney. It's wonderful to have places like Disney Plus and Netflix and places that are just doing things outside of the norm because of the huge audience they have. So you get to go make really great, incredible productions for a whole new audience. I love that. I love that there's that much diversity in the number of types of cinema you can make and
Yeah.
do things like this where it's kind of a concert film, but it actually has animation and it's got the you can redefine everything
Yeah.
because people just want to be entertainment any which way they can. But yeah, my experience with them has been great.
Awesome. So you also have a big emphasis, and you can tie this into the question I asked earlier about working. You're adding your unique take on this, but you want to create your own work. You want to have that unique Robert Rodriguez touch on everything
Mhm.
you put your camera lens on. So, how do you go from that creative process and making this specifically your own, even though it is like a concert film? It's not just a live action film. It's not just animation. I know you
Yeah,
kind
I
of
mean,
marry it with
it's a
the
good
earlier
question.
question.
I don't necessarily try to impose myself on everything. I try to blend in, but because I do a lot of jobs myself, a lot of times it ends up looking like my stuff, even when I'm trying to wear a different hat. But like even when I did that Mandalorian episode, it was like
Yeah.
I went in there to shoot the show, but of course it ends up looking like Desperado. But
which turned out great, to be completely honest. I mean, got people excited.
yeah. But this one was really just how can I help? I mean, she was going to be doing everything. She's performing.
Hmm.
I worked with Lady Gaga and Ariana Grande, and I'm good with working with people that are like at the top of their game in their field, and they're doing something like cinematic. I can help with that. Motion capture. I
Hmm.
did Alita. I could go help her with that. I know kind of the pitfalls of that. What can happen when you're in the suit, and then actually what can happen really great. So I can highlight those types of things. Just help her, fulfill her vision. I really wanted it to feel like something that she had in her head. I wanted to help her realize it.
Yeah.
So I think of myself more sometimes as a facilitator rather than somebody who comes in and just says, "Well, this is how I see it." And,
Hmm.
if I have ideas, I totally present them to her. And if she digs them, we go and we do it. And that's usually where it comes from.
Yeah. So, I know you brought up Alita real quick. I do want to go to Alita. The Alita army is still alive and kicking. They're very vocal.
Incredible. Every time I open up my social media, there's so many messages from them.
They're
I
very,
love that
very
they're so
vocal,
passionate. Yeah.
So, are there any new updates on that potential sequel? What can fans do to make that sequel a reality? Maybe even a trilogy of reality? What's your
I'm
take?
hoping I'm earning some points, by doing so much for Disney because they own it now.
Right.
They
Yeah,
own
they
it.
do.
That's
Mhm.
why we weren't able to jump right in and do a sequel because of that whole thing. And now they're starting to release some of the Fox stuff. So
Mhm.
I'm trying to, let's see what happens with Boba Fett. I think that show's going to knock people socks
Yeah.
off. So when that happens, I'm able to go in and say, okay, I've been here now for a while. When let's figure
Word.
out how we can do Alita, whether it's for streaming or for theatrical or what, because it's such a great property. People love it, and I love it. Jim loves it. We just talked about it recently again. How can we do
Mhm.
this? What's the best way to approach it? And I think it'll be me going in there, with him
Yeah.
to talk about it because I'm doing a lot of stuff with him now.
Yeah, I agree. It was a great first film, so I'm hoping it does get to see the light of day for more
Yeah,
films
she's
or even a series. It was great. But
yeah.
for the final questions, any new updates on Boba Fett? How many episodes will you be directing? Have you written any of the episodes for this series?
Wow, I got so much to tell you about that, but I'm out of time. Yeah, I can't say anything. Sworn to silence. I can say I'm
Yeah.
working on it, and I can tell you, blow your mind. I can tell you that.
Listen, I'm tell you
Blow your
personally,
mind.
since I have you here, I'm looking forward to it.
You saw him arrive in my episode on
Oh,
Mandalorian.
of course,
Right?
of course.
Okay, that was nothing.
That was
That was
nothing. Oh
nothing.
man, now you're teasing. Now you're teasing. Now
And
you're
I
teasing.
can I can talk it up. I can talk it up all I want because I
Oh
know it's gonna
man.
deliver. I know it's gonna over deliver.
It's gonna
So,
over. Okay,
yeah.
okay. See, now you got. I was already up here. Now you got me
No,
even
it's
higher.
I can just keep raising it.
Oh
It's gonna go
man.
on forever.
But all right, Robert. That's my final question for today. I'm looking forward to the Billie Eilish concert. It was a pleasure talking to you today. Thank you. Appreciate you for the time out of the
Thanks.
day for this interview. So you guys both have a good day. Thank you, Steven. Thank you, Robert. We'll talk to you guys soon.
Thanks
Appreciate
so
it.
much.
Have a
Thanks,
good
And
man.
day.
we'll go on to the next Zoom link.